Welcome, welcome. I can see people joining. So here we are. First, we would like to wish you all a Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
As you can see, and here I'm not alone. So I am with Mark and Sophia. For those who don't know us yet, I am Marie and I am with Mark. We both are in charge of Lego Braille bricks worldwide. And we have a special guest today, Sophia.
Hello.
Sophia comes from Greece, and she will introduce the Greece alphabet in a few minutes. Today, so we are almost 50 people. Hello. You know all about the live session, I guess. So, you know, we have a chat and you are more than welcome to use it to tell us where you are from, how is the weather like in your country. I'm always keen on that. So it is our live session, a special one today, because we are the 4th of January and it is Louis Braille birthday. You all know that Louis Braille was French, as Mark and I, and he invented the Braille code. So that's why today is World Braille Day. And we wanted to have a special live session about the Braille code all over the world. So we're going to talk about Louis Braille history, the French Braille code. Then we'll talk about some tools to write the Braille code, but also explore a bit of Greek Braille and also Chinese Braille. So, Mark, Sophia, I can see that we have people from Texas, Lancaster. It's beautiful in Nashville. Ooh, lucky. We have Canada, Lisbon, Belgium. Someone says Happy New Year and Happy Braille Day. Thank you. Oh, it's also sunny in Oregon. We have Susan from China. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
We have Nancy from South Carolina, Newcastle, Ireland, Germany, Illinois, Portugal. So yeah, and Canada. Nice. So once again, Happy New Year to everyone. You all know about these live sessions. So it's the 4th live session, Mark, am I correct? Yes. Yeah. And at the end, we're going to talk about the one that are coming. We have people from UK, Buckingham, La Forte, we have Birmingham. So lots of people from UK, Germany, and Canada. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Maybe we are ready to start. What do you think?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm ready too.
Yeah, great. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start with a bit of history about Louis Braille.
Yeah, because we thought that a lot of people know what Braille is, but we also wanted to be sure that you know the history of Louis Braille. And that's very important for us because it kind of resonates today. The history of Louis Braille 2 centuries ago is also very relevant nowadays, according to how to teach to a blind person, how to consider why Braille is important, how to consider learning to read for a blind person, and so on. So I'm not sure you know that, but Louis Braille was born in 1809. So like Mary said, it was in January the 4th. So that's was supposed to be his birthday. And that's also why the decision was made to call the 4th of January World Braille Day. And January is also Braille month in the US and Canada, for example. So that's a very important day today and month for Braille in the world. So who is Louis Braille? So I'm sure you all know the beginning of the story because Louis Braille was a young boy born in France, near Paris, in a little village called Coupvray. And that's important to say that it is a little village because you have to imagine that it is 200 years ago. So in a poor village and not in a big city. So it means that to go to school, to attend school was not common at that time, whether you were blind or not blind. So at the beginning of his life, Louis Braille was sighted, and he was very, very curious, and he wanted to play with his father too. And unfortunately, his father was a saddler, so he was working with horses and with leather to make things for the horses. And in his place where he was working, he had a lot of different tools. And unfortunately, one day, the little boy, who was only 3 years old, and he decided to go in this office and to pick a tool and to play with it. That was fine until the moment when he accidentally put the tool in his eye, in one eye. And at that time, medicine was not very good. And unfortunately, the infection reached the other eyes. So 2 years after that, even if the parents worked hard, the doctors too, Braille was totally blind at the age of 5 years old. So as all the blind person at that time, he had to stay at home, mainly with his siblings and mother. And the mother was very active and wanted to show the world that this little boy can do a lot of things and can be very curious and can even go to school. But at that time, the answer was no, your boy cannot go to school. So the mother was very in close relation with the church of her village, and the priest called Father Paluy was helpful at that time. In fact, he wanted to take Louis in consideration, and they went outside for walks and had a lot of discussions about what is a tree, what can you see in the tree, can you listen to the birds, what kind of bird is it? So step by step, it makes Louis Braille know a lot of things. I don't know what happened on the screen, but the picture disappeared with square.
Oh.
Yes, weird square. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a puzzle.
I'm going to start again. Do you have it?
A lot of squares, yeah. 2 gray and striped. I can see only the, okay, that's fine. That's good. So at that time, so everybody was happy to teach Braille things, but of course, if you wanted to be really literate, you have to attend a school. So that's why Father Paluy knocked at the teacher's door. At that time in the village, the 2 persons very important were the priest and the teacher. And they had a discussion, and the teacher said, okay, I can take it at school. I can take Louis, I can admit Louis to my school. I'm not sure I can do something for him, but at least he can listen to if that's what you want. So that's why, little by little, the teacher understands that finally, sometimes only one student in the class could answer questions, and it was Louis Braille. Even if he was very young, even if he had no access to pen or books, he can really answer to questions because he was at that time very, very literate. So one more people was convinced, the teachers, and he tried to find a way to teach Louis Braille how to read. So that's what you can see on the picture with raised letter made with nails in wood, in a wooden plate. He had written the letters so that they can be felt by the fingers. So it was not very convenient, but it worked. And then at that time, the family, the priest and the teachers decided to go further and try to find a school for Louis Braille, a real school for the blind. And they were happy to find that the first school for the blind was built in Paris, and exactly at that time. But it was very expensive, so they were also happy to be helped by some rich person wishing to help. So everything was perfect. So Louis Braille was able to go and attend to the school and start learning. So they start learning with raised letter on papers. So that was very, very difficult to read. To be able to decipher all the letters was a nightmare. But as he was very clever and brave, he continued to really learn to read, and he managed to read. But at that time, only a few books, only 2 school books a year were made for the school. So it was very quick for Louis Braille to read everything that was able to be read by the finger. And once again, another person came to the school, and he was called Charles Barbier de la Serre. He was a military, but in fact worked for the military and for war only 2 days. But he was able to invent a tactile night writing system, sort of a code that can be read by soldiers without lights. And this code was a tactile code. And the idea was to use like a cell, but with 2 columns of 6 dots, so 12 dots in total. So some could be raised, some other not. And the idea was to represent letters and also sounds. So it worked well for a secret message. And this guy, Charles Barbier de la Serre, thought that it could be a good idea to present it to the School for the Blind. So maybe the blind person could be interested in it. And that's exactly what happened. He went to the school, he presents the system, he presents his slate. So you could also write what you want people to read tactually. So it worked well. And Louis Braille was very happy about that system, but he thought it was too complicated because first, you cannot feel a letter just with one finger. You really have to move very, very a lot to be able to feel all the letters. Then he was not also happy about the fact that there are not only letters, but also sound, making the system really, really complicated and not good to learn how to spell words. So he proposed to make a better system. And that's exactly what he managed to do by reducing the size of the cell. So from 12 dots, now you have only 6 dots possible, 2 columns of 3 dots. And with this, you can write all the letters, all the numbers. And he also included like a line, a tactile line in the code. And step by step, he tried that with other blind person, and they were happy about that. And step by step, he improved this code. And in 1829, finally, he managed to write a book and to propose to the world what is called Procédé pour écrire les paroles, la musique et le plein chant au moyen de points. And it was published in 1829. So, in fact, that was not only a method to be able to write and read, but it's also about how to write and read music. So in this method, people were happy to be able to write and read letters, numbers, and also all the punctuation signs and everything needed to write and read. So then this code was adopted all over the world, but unfortunately, Louis Braille at that time had his health was not very good, and he died in 1852, January 6th exactly, so kind of 2 days similar to his birthday. So that's why really January is Louis Braille's month. And just an anecdote also about Louis Braille, because here you can see Louis Braille's grave in Panthéon, Paris. Panthéon is a big building, an historical building in Paris, where all the famous persons are buried. So that's why you can see him there. But also, and that's usually don't happen, but you can also go in his little village called Coupvray to the cemetery where he also have a grave, because when he died, he was buried in Coupvray, and 200 years ago, after his death, they decided to move the body to Paris because he was famous. But Coupvray wanted to keep kind of a souvenir, a memory of Louis Braille, and decided to keep the hands of Louis Braille because they said that it was the main part of the body. Even, of course, the brain was probably the
very interesting, Mark, but I'm the clock keeper and I can see times flying.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of people saying hello and asking about replay. So this session is recorded and you're going to have a replay on YouTube.
Yeah, and if I can take 5 minutes just to present Louis Braille, because that's exactly the same code as Louis Braille invented. So if you don't know a lot about Braille, that's a really short presentation of what is Braille. So here on the screen, you have the 10 first letter of the alphabet from A to J, and that's what we call the first decade or the first series. And Louis Braille only uses not all the studs, all the dots, but only dot 1, 2, 4, and 5. That is to say, the studs that are at the top of the cell. In the first series, you will never find dot 3 or dot 6. That's the way he invented that. So randomly, he find a pattern for all those letters, and then he decided to move to the next series, so the next decade made of 10 other letters, so from K to T. And very, very simply, he decided that letter A was the first one of the first decade. The first one of the second decade is letter K, so he will keep letter A, dot 1, and add only dot 3. So 1 and 3 make letter K. And he made exactly the same all over the series. If you take letter B as an example, letter B is dot 1 and dot 2. And to make the second series, you will only add dot 3 to dot 1 and dot 2, and it will become letter L. And that's how he proceeds to make all the alphabets. So to make the third series, he just added dot 3 and 6 to the first series. And here in this series, you can notice that if I read the beginning, you have U, V, X, Y, Z. You don't have letter W. And the reason why you don't have letter W is because at that time when Louis Braille invented this alphabet, letter W was not very used in French, and it's still not very used in French. But he had a good friend coming from England and telling him, I need W to write things in English. So that's how letter W was included at the end of the fourth series, because the series number 4 was about we can say the numbers or the accented letters, and once space was left, And that's why he decided to put letter W at the end of this series. So then you have everything to write all the letters, all the numbers. And the very last series is made to write punctuation sign. And for example, you just have to take the first series and being able to move it down one step. So .1 will become .2, and it will be comma, for example. So that's the way he has made that. Just one last word. It is very interesting to know and to understand how it was conceived. But of course, nobody will learn or will teach Braille to a blind kid using this. There is no way, it will be very weird to say to a child, if you want to write letter K, you have to remember it is the first letter of the second series. So it is letter A with .3. Of course, it's nonsense, but it's just interesting for us to understand how it was made.
So interesting, you have lots of comments. Someone says that it's interesting to notice that the French numbers are not the same, to learn about the detailed Louis Braille stories. So we have also some congratulations. Thank you all. And now we're going to have a video coming from Cameroon in Africa, which was made by Giselle, and she's explaining how in Cameroon they write Braille. Just going to start it and share with all of you. So Giselle is sitting on a table, close to a table, and she's holding a sheet of paper and a slate and styluses.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. Gedanjoge Giselle Majoli, a visually impaired. Unlike other visual impaired persons in my country, I've been fortunate to go through my education while using Braille. Braille is a series of 6 dots which enable persons with visual impairment to read and to write or to communicate with the society. It was invented in 1829 by a visually impaired man known as Louis Braille. He was inspired by the arm coats, and today this writing is so universal to persons with visual impairments. To write Braille, we first of all need to have what we call Braille paper. We need a stylus and we need a writing frame. So once you have this element, you insert your paper into your writing frame. Then you make sure that your paper is well fitted into your writing frame. One thing we need to note is that Braille is being written from the right to the left, but it's being read from the left to the right. And so I'm going to write down something.
So due to internet connection, it was not possible for Giselle to be with us, but we thank her a lot for this video. And at the end, we were able to see her making some punches in the paper to make holes. And you know that when you write with a slate and styluses, you write on the reverse mode. So that's why she was going from right to left. And as we can read on the chat, she is really fast and impressive. Now, we have one guest, Sophia, with us today. And Sophia, you come from?
Athens, Greece.
Yeah.
Not Athens, United States of America, Athens, Greece.
And you will talk about?
I'll present you the Greek Lego Brick Braille. The Lego, the Brick Braille was in fact, officially presented to Greece in 1948, recently. And here you can see all the alphabet, 24 letters, alpha, beta, gamma, and so on until omega. You can see also the diphthongs, which is the two vowels, one by side.
So what we have on the screen is in fact the overview of all the bricks that you can find inside the Greek Lego Braille bricks
Correct.
box.
Correctly. And this is, so there is the diphthongs, and alpha iota is one, for example, alpha epsilon, epsilon iota, and so on. There is also, we have in the box the numbers to 0 to 9, and also the mathematical operators. We have the accent, the stressed accent, as we say in English, which is used for the modern Greek. Since 1982, we have only one accent, but before that, and for the ancient Greek, we have the polytonic system. The polytonic system, it's a lot of accents, it's written rough and smooth, it's accent acute, grave, and that's all, I think.
Yeah.
If
We
I
already
remember
have
correct.
We already have one question for you, Sophia.
Yes.
Katrina is asking, why are the numbers not in the same order as the Greek letters? Like 3, you know, it's the number sign.
Correctly. Three is also for the Latin, the C, the letter C. Excuse me.
Yes.
The letter C doesn't exist in Greek.
So you use the same math code and number
Yes.
signs as in English, for example, but as you don't have letter C, the brick is only number 3.
3, correctly. And so alpha, beta, gamma, donc is the 3, and gamma is also the letter for the letter is the J, is the number 7. The X is the 8. The F is the order of the letters in Greek. There is a difference.
And that's why maybe we can explain a little bit why we chose to show the content of the box like that. You have the letters of the alphabet, starting, like you said, with alpha, beta, gamma. And as we can see, the numbers are not in the same orders as we have with the English alphabet, for example. So that's why at the bottom of the overview, you also have all the numbers
together, to 1 to 0, to facilitate this is the, as I said, is the modern Greek. The ancient Greek, which is in the international Braille, is used for the mathematics. So the international Greek is also the polytonic system, and the letters is used for mathematics and other scientific proposal. I don't know, really. I'll give you some, the next slide is letters, is the bricks from so closely. We have the M, is like the Latin. The iota is like the alpha is A. This is P for poo is the letter P, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots, but it's the letter P. And the row 1, 2, 3, and 5. It looks like in the Latin the letter P.
So that's a
So-
bit confusing for us to see that you have 1, 2, 3, 5, that's an R, but the way you write it in Greek is like the way we write P, but
P
it's
for-
R.
Yes, for the someone who has problems with visual problems, it's the same. So, but for someone who can see the letter printed on the top, on the bottom of the brick, it's a little bit confusing. The G is the gamma, and the next diapo is I will give you some 2 words or 3. Peso, here is peso with P, I said before. The stressed accent, which is very important for the monotonic system we have. The alpha, iota 1, 2, and 6. And then the zeta and omega, peso, it's meant play. And then I have the word ψάχνω with psi, psi, stressed accent, alpha, chi, ni, omega. Is ψάχνω, look for church also.
So you have this special brick, the accent one, which is .5, and there is nothing written in print on it as we didn't know how to write it.
Yeah, it's only an accent. It's only like the other accents.
It's only .5 and the brick is yellow.
Yeah. And then I've got you the Vrika, see I found, with the B, Vita, Rho, as the people who can see the is like a P, but it's Rho, is the accent, Ita, Kappa, Alpha, Vrika, see I found. There is some letters we don't have in Greek. For example, we don't have the C, as I said before. We don't have the
Q, you said?
The Q and the W too.
So almost like Louis Braille. You don't want to have the W. Okay, thank you. Do we have questions for Sophia in the chat about the Greek alphabet? I can see people happy to know that there is Lego Braille bricks in Greece. We are doing a pilot right now. So Mark and I, we've been in Greece in December.
Yes, at the training and rehabilitation center here in Athens. It was we were all very pleased to have you here. And a big thank you also to the Foundation Lego Brick Braille to including the Greek in the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. You have lots of congratulations. And you have Rebecca from Ireland who says, very interesting.
Thank you.
Now we can go to China. So we have Faye, who made a really nice video showing how it works with Chinese. So I just gonna prepare it and share it with you. So Faye is the Lego Braille Brick project manager in China. So she's going to explain everything in the video. It's starting now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Faye. I'm the project manager of Lego Braille Brick China program. I'm working at Social Impact and a partnership of the Lego Group based in Shanghai, China. Thanks for Mark and Marie's invitation for me to introduce you a little bit about Chinese Braille. So first, I would like to share a little bit background about LBB project in China. In China, we started prototype pilot in 2020. Prototype means we need to convert from English version of toolkit to Chinese version of toolkit, and we need to decide which Chinese Braille character and how many of them should be included in one toolkit. We also wanted to understand if the local educators welcome the learning through play concept with LBB. Therefore, we did pilot in 4 blind schools in China. Because we received very positive feedback, therefore, we continued the program. In 2021 and 2022, with the collaboration with the local partners, we distribute toolkits to many special education schools in China. We also provide those educators learning through play with LBB trainings. Now, you might have a question. Chinese language is a type of hieroglyph, a picture-like language. How can we use the different combination of 6 dots to represent the Chinese characters? This is because we do not only have the character, but we also have a pinyin system to tell us how to pronounce the character. So in the following, I will first use my name as an example. Now, this is my name. If you know English, you probably will spell or pronounce it as F-E-I, Fei. But this is how my Chinese character look like. And this is the pinyin for my character. Do you notice the difference? There is a little one line above those characters. We call it tone. So in fact, we use the consonant, vowels, and tone, 3 things usually to identify the pronunciation of one character. So if we transfer it to Chinese Braille, it will look like this.
So we have F, E-I, and tone. 3 bricks.
And of course, even sometimes we have the same consonant, vowel, and tone. Maybe they can be different characters. How can we distinguish those characters? That's why sometimes in Chinese, when we start to learn the language, it's very important for us to learn the combination of 2 or 3 characters together. They form a word, or you call it phrase, and usually they will have a certain meaning. Now I will use another longer phrases to show you how it works. This is Happy New Year in English and how it looks like in Chinese. This is the 4 characters referred to Happy New Year. And how do we pronounce it? This is the pinyin of these 4 words, 4 characters. 新年快乐. I hope you can feel the different tones of these 4 characters. And then when we turn it into Chinese Braille, it will look like this. Now, you may notice that for each character, we have consonant, vowel, and also tone. And you may also notice that we put 2 characters together. 新年 means New Year, and also 快乐 together. And there is a little bit space in between. Because by doing that, students will know that these 2 characters together, it makes them to better understand the meaning of this combination. So I hope you find it's helpful for you to understand about Chinese Braille. And I also want to share one fun fact about the Chinese Braille version. It is actually the 12th language version of all Lego Braille Break toolkits version. And this is also the first language outside of Latin language. All right, this is the beginning of the 2023. I wish you have a great start and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye. I think she managed to make me understand a little bit of how we can write Chinese and how we can have a Braille alphabet in Chinese. I don't know what you think, but I feel I'm a bit more clever now after her explanation. We had one live session just before this one in French, and people asked about other languages. So you can see the Lego Braille Break started with Latin-based languages, but we are also going to other kind of languages like the Chinese one. We have questions in the chat. How many character symbols are there in Chinese? A lot. So we can say that the Chinese box is the box which has the most bricks in it. So it was quite a challenge to manage to have them all. Next month, we're going to have more live sessions. So we're going to start with looking at notes. We're going to have in February, the school age numeracy. So it will be the 1st of February. You know that you can find all the links in our website. So I'm just adding that on the chat for you to look at it. I lost my chat. Where is it? Here. No, still don't have it.
No.
Chat here. So that's the link to go on the website legobraillebricks.com, and you will find everything about the live session. So this live session was recorded, and you will be able to find a replay on YouTube, the YouTube channel. We also post things on Facebook. So as soon as the recording is available, you will see it on Facebook. You will also have the link to register for the next one. So I was saying that it will be numeracy, school age numeracy in February, the 1st of February. And then in March, we're going to have daily living activities, the 6th of March. And use the same link, you will be able to access them all. Maybe the link of the YouTube channel too. Yep. So we have one question about music. How will we do anything with Braille bricks? So you have several options. You can make music with the bricks using them, but you can also try to write and code music with the bricks. So if you want to learn more, you just have to join us in March. What did I say, Mark?
Oh, that's April.
April. April, that's music. So it's numeracy in February, daily living activities in March, music, and then we're also going to have orientation and mobility. Yes, you have the link for the YouTube channel on the Lego page, of course. So we still have one last minute, and I wanted to share something just before we say goodbye. The last one, and thank again all the presenters we had today. Of course, Mark, but I'm not sure we have to thank you. Always.
Why?
Okay, so you want me to thank you. Thank you, Mark.
And I can thank you if you want.
Yes, you can. So thank you, Sophia, so much.
Thank you too.
From Greece. Unfortunately, it was not possible for Giselle from Cameroon because of internet connection, and also Faye from China because of time difference. But they were lovely enough to send amazing video for you to understand more about the way they use the slate and styluses in Cameroon, and also this Braille Chinese code. I think it's time for us to say one more time, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And how do you say Happy New Year in Greek?
Καλή χρονιά.
Woo!
The same
Καλή
from here.
χρονιά σε όλους.
Χρόνια.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
Happy Braille Day and happy Braille month. And we hope to see you in 1 month in February to do some math, interesting and fun math activity.